I liked it.
All right, welcome back to the Hunt, Lift, Eat podcast, the Hunt, Lift, Eat official on Instagram, and the Hunt, Lift, Eat podcast also on Instagram. I am your host. This time I do have adult supervision because Carter's sitting next to me filling in for the co-host role. I've got a special guest on today, but first off, Carter, how's it going, man? It's been about a week since we've gotten on here, right?
Yeah, man, we're getting back in the swing of things. Looking forward to this one. Good way to round out the week. Yeah, looking forward to hearing about y'all's kind of connection and then diving into hopefully some waterfowl conversation.
Dude, yeah, I don't know jack or shit about waterfowl hunting, but our guest today is a good buddy of mine, Will. Will is a fellow Green Beret. He's still out there getting after it, rowing hard and kicking ass in the name of the nation's safety and defense. But we worked together for a little while before I retired, and we have been hunting together down in Texas. We do a week-long hunt together. It's 4 years now. You missed this past year because you were out there doing God's work, right? But we did three good solid years together hunting there, didn't we?
Yeah, no, that Texas trip is absolutely incredible. Oddly enough, I'm not a big whitetail guy, but every time we go to Texas, I take a temporary hiatus from waterfowl to at least go down and chase Texas whitetail. So it's a one-of-a-kind opportunity.
Well, I tell you what, from not being a whitetail guy, that last deer that you shot down there was probably the biggest typical deer that I've ever seen.
That a nice one?
Oh yeah. Man, we're talking about Coke can base. I think he scored like mid 180s.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, they have so essentially Give God Glory is the ranch, and they invite all of us down, and it's this incredible experience. And they try to also do some mentorship and some worship and on this trip, and it's truly an incredible experience, right? Because you go to this magical place. It's absolutely stunning. I think Kerri would agree. It's beautiful, and they kind of do like a competition for a couple of days, and I just happened to, blind squirrel finds a nut. I won somehow, some way, and they have all these trophies on there, these exotic things, and I was like, I really want a Texas whitetail, and they were like, all right, we got the one for you. And his nickname was on the ranch was Tank, if that's any indication of like how big this dude was. And yeah, that was awesome. And the base of his antlers were like a Coke can, and I was just like, good God. It's like one of those hunts, like it happens. This sounds ridiculous, right? But like it happens so fast, and then you're sitting there holding this big dude up, and you're just like, is this real? Am I am I legit? Am I in a dream? Did I? But yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Definitely spoiled rotten because of those trips, without a doubt. To be honest.
Absolutely. But yeah, those trips were real. Will and I really connect. So, like we crossed paths a little bit because we were both in the same battalion. I was working down at the operations shop when I first met him, but really didn't get to know Will at all until those hunts, man. So that's one of those, we talked about it several times in this podcast before, man, but the hunting camp, like just the bonding and, shared experiences there, just, it's amazing. Right. And that's what led us to here, man. So Drew, dude, I only know you from hunting camp. I know you're a waterfowl guy. I know you're a GB because we worked in the same building. But,
I know.
But I'm like, Carter asked me, he's like, hey, man, tell me a little about Will before we jump on this podcast. And I'm like, shit, I think I just said it all.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I mean, it's true, though. It's very true.
Yeah.
So still an active GB in the game, running around, causing trouble as best as possible. I have an incredible team. I couldn't ask for more. I'm running the team right now. As a team sergeant, and it's been an absolutely incredible experience so far. I learned probably more in my short duration as a team sergeant about leadership than I have my entire life. And I'm 40, so what does that tell you? It's been a truly incredible opportunity to be in charge of such a amazing group of men, so motivated and so driven. When we talk about the hunting stuff, let's see. I'm a Louisiana boy. I grew up chasing greenheads in timber in northwestern Louisiana, around Shreveport, Louisiana, off the Red River, for basically most of my childhood. We started a hunting club. This is kind of where it gets serious, right? We started a hunting club probably when I was about 25. We owned some land and next to some other guys, and everybody was hunting quite a bit. And we basically were like, okay, well, if we all hunt hard, we're not going to kill as many ducks. So what we did was we pooled our resources, created a big hunting club, and then what we do is a lot of the people that owned the hunting club were hunting all the time. So I proposed the idea of we're going to, uh, run it as a guide fit, like outfitter. You know what I mean? During the times that nobody else was there. So I started running that with my dad and my uncle, and that kind of took off in a hurry, right? Because that's what I spend on my Christmas block leave. I get 2 weeks every year, like anybody in the military around Christmas. And I started guiding, and that's really when it started to take off for me on the waterfowl side of the house, because it was like hunting anything, right? There's so many layers. And then when I really started to kick it off, I added the dog, I added the calling and waterfowl, and it got out of hand fast, boys. I'll say that, like it, because anybody that hunts knows that it gets expensive quick, right? And duck hunters love their gear.
It's
And
a different.
oh well, I mean, all right, like we're all grown men here. Like you're talking about going and standing in waist deep water during the middle of winter to chase a small animal that makes a funny sound. Like
Yeah.
who's the real idiot here?
Yeah.
The duck or me? Like you know what I mean? And my dog's sitting next to me going, "Are you gonna shoot? Are we not gonna shoot? Like what are we doing?" So yeah, that's like a quick synopsis. But yeah, waterfowl is my passion without a doubt. I do love a good dove hunt, right? Like, because it's a communal thing. We're all
Yeah.
out there together. When you miss, I make fun of you. When I miss, you make fun of me. Turkey's a new one. I got my first turkey this year, which is absolutely, who knew? Who knew such a silly sound could get you so riled up?
Oh my God.
Um, well, I mean, you like when guys talk about combat and stuff, you're like, man, that's what I live for. And I'm over here going, yeah, I like a good thunder chicken in the morning. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's my thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's been a wild ride. I'm really grateful. I've met some incredible people along the way. I really appreciate y'all having me on the show. I've watched several different podcasts now. I love that the community aspect, because I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, Carter. Like the community nowadays, it matters, right? Some form of a connection, right? So I don't feel, because maybe I don't know something, but on a platform like y'all's, I can go ask, and it's yeah, sure, somebody's gonna break my balls, but who cares? Like they'll probably help me out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, man. That community's everything, and whatever facet of life, whatever your career choice, whether you're former military, still in the military, I'm a school teacher, right? It doesn't matter, right? It's something people we've found are starved for, especially in the outdoor world, right? And that happens to be all of our common denominator here. But so many people have been drawn to hunting in the outdoors in more recent years as later adult set hunters, and that's been a really interesting find, is people seeking it out in this form or facet. And I get it, right? Because everything you just described about standing in the flooded timber and how your heart feels when that gobbler thunders off, and like it's the best feeling in the world. And hunting in the outdoors is kind of the great equalizer, man. And like you said, like sometimes chasing things with feathers, doves or ducks, it can be more of a social
yeah.
experience, and that community comes from that too, man. That's why I love sitting in a blind with guys being miserably cold together, because we're just having a great time.
Oh my God, yeah, the laughs are insane. I got a question for you two, actually. Like, do you think with all the technology and all the noise that comes around us on a daily basis, do you think the woods are more valuable to both of you now than they were before?
Absolutely, dude. So we haven't talked in a while, man, because you've been, doing God's work. But I started guiding this season, man. So I spent a month in Alaska. Actually, I spent 23 days up in the high country in the interior of Alaska, where there is zero technology unless you bring it in, right? So there's no
Oh
outside
wow.
anything.
Yeah.
I think we were 99 miles from the nearest civilization, and I'm telling you right now, dude, that was a 100% reset. I've never slept better. I mean, you know how it is,
Hmm.
dude. Like we
Yeah.
been to some places and our sleep is not great, like our mental health is probably not where it ought to be. But dude, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man,
That's a
that
fact.
yeah, those 23 days out there, while it wreaked havoc on my body because I'm still a broken old fuck. But
Hmm.
mentally, man, like it was 100% a reset. And you get a little bit of that, like in the whitetail woods or going out west chasing an elk or whatever it is you're doing, even on the ranch there where we're coming back, in the middle of the day and in the evenings and stuff after our hunts, like just being out there just a little bit away from everything else, dude. Like it's magical, it's healing, man, and it's something that everybody needs to fucking do in some fashion or another, whether they're hunting or just going out in the nature, period,
Oh yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly, man. I would say our lives are invaded by technology, and some of it's good, obviously, right? Like we all work with it in some capacity. You know what I mean? But I do think Carter nailed it. I've never heard that term used, but like people are starving for a connection to the natural. You know what I mean? Like there is something truly special about harvesting an animal, cooking it yourself, like, and no preservatives. Because, like, I mean, that's its own rabbit hole, right? Like the actual like consumption of the resource. Like you could go down. That's yeah, for me as a Louisiana boy, that's almost as important. You know what's funny? You bring up the guide thing. I'm happy for you, man. That's an epic thing to do. What I like about guiding other people's hunts is that it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You are a mechanism to make someone else have a good time. Like what an incredible thing. You know what I mean? And what's the saying where it's like sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you, like sometimes it goes great. And like you have these a father and a son just having a magical hunt. And you're like, that's okay, that's it. Package that
Yeah.
and sell that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes you don't do so hot and you got to scramble around with the client to find them the right blind or the right spot. But it's like there's a certain degree of satisfaction, I think, that comes along with putting somebody else on an elk, a deer, a turkey,
Mhm.
a ducks that I really, really enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's just good for the soul. You know what I mean?
Dude, it
Good for
is,
the soul.
man. It is. And I didn't hunt for myself very much this year. I did, I was in Alaska, I guided there. I actually guided with a crew with Hunt Lift Eat for a guy and his two kids in their very first hunt for a couple of days in Virginia, and then
It was their
I actually
first.
their very first hunt. Yeah,
Oh, dude,
so
that's epic. That is
three,
epic.
yeah, three brand new hunters, two of them 14-year-old boys and their dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 5 animals in like 2 days.
Goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
it was
That's a
amazing.
lot, man.
Yeah, and then
Sometimes,
so I'm no longer a hunter down there at Triple G, man. I'm a guide down there.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, so I'm
That's
guiding
awesome.
the dudes down there. So I got you remember Dave? I don't know where the hell he's at now. He was an old Seco guy, but Dave,
I might have, yeah.
he runs
Sounds
Trident's
familiar, but
Edge. Yeah, he made all
yeah.
the hats for the battalion.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I remember him now. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, dude, I got him on his first animal, man. It killed a massive hog.
Oh,
Very first animal. That was the dude. He was my medic when I fell down those stairs in Iraq, and I didn't have a medic around me. I was doing telemed with Dave as he's telling me like what drugs to fucking inject in my ass so I can keep going.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
so
true.
yeah. And
That's
so yeah, man, getting him on his first animal, dude, it was awesome, man. This guiding stuff is and I'm gonna be doing more. So Triple G is now a foundation and they bring out veterans from a couple of different organizations.
oh, wow.
So I'm moving down there this summer.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot for Project Savior's one of them, and
Oh,
then
wow.
whoever else David brings out, I'm going to go out and give them a hand. I hired myself for David. I said, I'm your
I'll cut
guy.
out the middleman. I'll just come
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't blame you. That's a magical place, man. That there is something, I don't know, there's something sacred about that plot of
dude.
land that he's got.
Yeah,
So,
it's about as close to heaven on earth as you're going to get, man.
well, I think and maybe this is just being a dude or a chick, right? Like our lives are so full of the rat race that anytime you can go somewhere and turn it off for a minute, that place is you can't put a price on it. You can't put
No,
money like you can't attach money to something like that. And I think there's a lot to be said about a place like that. It's
yeah. Yeah. I'd like to hear your answer to your question, Will, about the value of your time in the outdoors with the insane. We're more connected than we've ever been, right?
Oh my
But
God, I know. Good Lord, you got 19 different ways to get a hold of me, and I can't stand it.
right. But how
So,
meaningful are those connections? You know what I mean, right? Where we have the ability to be more connected, but a lot of these
yeah,
relationships via social media and whatever are very transactional, right? So
that's
um,
true. That's a good point. That's
taking
a great point, man.
taking the time to spend in the outdoors with people you care about, that's where you kind of build that fellowship, man. But I'd love to hear your answer to your question, man. How has your view on it
Oh
changed?
goodness, that's oh wow, curveball, Carter. All right, all right. Um, I wasn't ready. I'll openly admit it, right? That's why I posted it to y'all. Um, Golly, man, there's, okay, so I found a Canard waterfowl because there's a lot of waterfowl companies that make very nice stuff, but I thought to myself, I can do it better. And if you go to our website, right, at canardwaterfowl.com or whatever, my dog has become a very large portion, right, of my hunting experience. And to spend time, his name is Sully, black lab. I know, very cliche, right? But be out there with Sully on a stand on a tree and just hammering down on a cut down call as birds are working. I don't know that you could pay me, like if you put gun to my head right now, $10 million on the table, or go have a great hunt with Sully, on like a Saturday morning, I'd pick that.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question. I know that's a silly Southern Louisiana guy answer, but um, yeah, I think it's invaluable. I don't think I look forward to it, awake and sleeping as well. I think about it nonstop. You know what I mean? Because there's always, what I love about hunting is that there are so many details that could go good or go wrong, right? Maybe they saw you, maybe they smelled you, maybe they heard you. You know what I mean? There's just so much to it, and I think that's what makes those small victories so special. You know what I mean? For that turkey I shot on Easter Sunday, I dude, I crawled 200 yards for this idiot to come back to me. You know what I mean? I was so mad. Oh my God, I don't crawl. You know what I mean? I prefer not to crawl. All right, but I was like, I looked at my buddy. I said, I want you to make noise to cover me while I like move so it masks my sound. He's like, okay. He's like, how far are you gonna go? And I looked at him and I said, as I'm sweating, mind you, because it's hot as hell down here in North Carolina right now. And I'm like, as long as it takes, right? And
Yeah.
he's like, he's not a military guy. He's just like, Jesus, take it easy, will you? God,
Take it easy.
like I was like, I'll be back, So yeah, just emotional roller coaster. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I swear to God, I really wouldn't. It's just there's something to be said. And then, like you said, Kerri, like getting those 14-year-old boys their first hunt, like brother, you just influenced people's lives forever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then it just fascinates me that like because that's gonna live rent free in their head the rest of their life. There ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So
The train's in motion now. Things are happening.
yeah,
It
oh
can't,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, man.
Gonna
I
get,
will say this, and maybe this makes me a dickhead, but I do love when guys talk shit about being a great shot and they miss. That's one
yeah.
of my favorite things about guiding too. That's a little nugget, all right?
Yeah.
That's between us girls, as they say. But I had one guy's come out. They were from Tennessee one time, and they brought whiskey with them, and they're talking a big game the night at the lodge, and they're just like, yeah, we don't miss. So I take them to a spot. It's like one of our premier spots. We name each one of our duck blinds or duck spots, excuse me, after a dead president. So like Jefferson, Washington, Ford, you name it, right? We got about 11. And I take them to Jefferson. Jefferson's my favorite because it's what you see in Ducks Unlimited magazine, right? It's timber, you're leaning up against a tree. It's like this super picturesque thing. And they're like, we're killers, we don't miss. And I'm like, okay, boys. I was like, I'm gonna put you on them, and we're gonna put it to the
We'll
test.
see.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I want to say it was about a group of 11 mallards, just beautiful, full plume greenheads. This was in January, and they're hammering around, and then they swing and go feet down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's like a girl lifting her skirt on prom night. And it was just it doesn't get any prettier, okay, as these boys are popping through those trees. And boy, they let out a thunder. Just boom, 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 boom. Didn't cut a feather. High dollar guns, you name it. They had it all. The fancy ammo, the fancy guns, didn't cut a feather. And I said, well, boys, I was like, I'm not sure who you was saying that stuff for, but it damn sure wasn't for me. So, so yeah, it stuff like that also lives rent free in my head. So.
Absolutely. I love a good taste of hubris whenever
Oh
necessary.
my gosh, it was. I said, y'all better cut. I was like, y'all don't need to cut up that cake. Just go ahead and get your big bite and move on down. So it was, yeah, that was a special moment.
Yeah, I
That's
always get
awesome.
real leery when the guy shows up and he's head to toe in the latest, greatest brand name hunting gear, and he's
Oh
got this
yeah,
super Gucci rifle, and he starts talking a big game. I'm like, all right, buddy,
yeah,
we're gonna go to the range.
yeah, yeah. Hold on, sweetheart.
Yeah,
That's yeah. Take it easy, all right. It
but
ain't. I.
I've missed too. I've missed
Oh
too.
no,
I've
yeah,
even,
okay.
you know,
Now I say that, but I have whiffed big time before.
Yeah.
So I'll openly admit all day that I deserve mine just as much.
Will,
So
what hard to quantify it probably, but guiding waterfowl in Louisiana seems to have played a significant role in where you're at now and what you're trying to accomplish with Canards, man. What has that experience been like? Because I'm sure you went into it with an expectation of what guiding would be, and I wouldn't be surprised if you told me, man, I didn't know what the heck was happening, but it was just
yeah,
totally different than what I expected.
yeah. So the guiding portion of it was kind of like a side project that I love to do.
Uh-oh.
Expectation guiding, I didn't think I would care so much. Nobody told me that part. That's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. So
Yeah. So how
I
old were you
think
when you first started?
that was my first big. Oh gosh, I'd have been fresh out of college, 25, 26, probably. So I was just a guy, a poor college kid with a duck call and a shitty shotgun. And I started taking the members of the hunt club because I knew the ground better than they did, right? Because I eat it, live it, breathe it when I'm out, when I'm at home. I just knew where they'd be, and I don't know, maybe I guess you'd say I think like a duck, I guess sometimes. And I just kind of figured it out where they were going to be and what they were going to do and how to get in the middle of them. And then a lot to the point where my dad and uncle, believe it or not, started to kind of uh, ask me where things were going to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which was odd for my dad because my dad taught me everything. So that was pretty wild when he started asking me what was going on. I was like, "Oh shit, boys! I don't. Makes me nervous." Um,
Not good.
yeah, this is not. Do I have a problem? Um, so yeah, that was part of it. Uh, as far as canards being tied to the guiding, we eventually got some sponsors. We got them to come out and we tried to treat them right. And they kept giving us stuff and they'd get me to test it each year. And I would, but then I started to realize that I could probably make something better personally. You know what I mean? So I'm in I've had it for about a year and some change now. Excuse me. And I sell hats and shirts to fund the R&D right now because what I would like to do is make a base layer, mid layer, and then the best wader jacket in the game. So I think I want to make, it's hard when you talk about Gore-Tex versus nylon versus, it's kind of like a mad scientist. I feel like a lot like I'm making Frankenstein. You know what I mean? I want a lightweight material that keeps you warm, that's breathable, but it also stretchy. It's like, I want my cake and I want to eat it too, is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do in a nutshell. So there's a lot of great companies, Shin, Banded, there's so many, you know what I mean? And they all do such a great job, but I feel like I could probably contend. I have no interest in dominating the whole game. I just want to make the best jacket. You know what I mean? So when somebody brings up, I want a duck hunting jacket, well, you're going to go to Kennard's then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it be affordable, right? Because nowadays, good Lord, everything's expensive. So it's not a joke anymore, guys. Like
Right.
it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just go to your grocery store and I promise you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So, well, you know what somebody told me yesterday? Now, this is a little off topic of the hunting thing, but if they said stick to the outside of the store, right? And that's the healthy stuff. So, but then my buddy hit me with the thing, kind of melted my simple brain. If there's a health food section in the grocery store, what does that make the rest of the store?
Right. Right.
So I don't work for Elon, but that's a damn good question. So,
that's why I have a garden out here, and that's why I hunt everything that I can.
oh my God, I don't blame you. Me too. I'm a big gardener, man. Oh my gosh, our garden, my wife, rightfully so, named our garden Drew's Pepper Palace because I got every pepper known to man. I do like some heat. Can't help it, right? I was raised that way.
So
So
Well, I
Louisiana.
tell you what, you want to keep eating peppers. Next time you go to Africa, do not drink the water.
oh my gosh, I know, buddy. I've had it. I know. Maybe that's not the conversation for this podcast, but I can call you and we can rap about that all day long, buddy.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
never been
next thing
that
you know,
sick.
man, you're going to be on my diet next time you go to the Triple G. When everybody else is eating whatever concoctions Michelle and them make, you and I'll be eating steaks.
Oh God, that's oh no,
It's not a bad gig.
no, yeah. Oh no. Yeah, I always see them cook you them juicy steaks, and I'm like, good God, am I doing it wrong? Like, did I make a mistake? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what. Do you guys have a favorite wild game that you prefer? Either of you? Like, do you have a favorite? Do you not have a favorite?
That's a good question.
Mine is a ton.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
So
theory?
I've never killed an elk, but I've gotten to eat some. And I really like the way elk meat tastes. But black bear. I love black bear.
Oh wow, that is not what I thought
Yeah.
you was gonna say. Okay.
No, me neither. What about you, Will?
Oh, I'm a dirty girl. I like it all, but I mean, I'd probably say, oh, that is a tough one. I'd probably say either duck, fat and skin on, scored, right? Pan seared,
Sure.
or fried backstrap. A deer, just
classic.
whitetail fried backstrap, man. Well, over like a homebred with gravy. My God, get out of the way. I do not get in my way if my grandmother's making that. I have little sisters and a little brother, but I don't give a damn if they're around. I will eat first. I have no. Generally, I'm like the guy that's like I try to be the older brother and like everybody get before me, you know. But when my grandmother makes fried backstrap, I don't play games. It's every man for himself. You either win or lose. Well, you choose. I don't care.
Yeah. It's a classic and it's nostalgic. Yep, I get
Well,
it.
it is. It's like it's just there are so many memories like wrapped up in that. You know what I mean? Because what better way to like I don't know how to put it. I guess. So you go through this whole emotional roller coaster hunting, right? And you get this animal, this incredible animal, and you're respectful and you harvest everything you possibly can, and then you share it with others, like invite them to your table, right? Because I think that's something that's lost on our culture right now. You know what I mean? Because I would imagine you gentlemen and many of your viewers are the same way. Like if I invite you to my table to sit down and eat, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal, right? And what an incredible moment to cook this food, this incredible animal, and share it with others, right? Like that is something special. I don't care who you are or what country you're from, that's a big deal. And I think it's something that I absolutely adore. My neighbors know it. They're always when I'm like, oh, I got a hog or I got some deer. They're always like, yeah. So what time exactly are we doing this?
That's a really good
But
point, man. And that experience of sharing your kill with others is as old as humans are, right? It's kind of like the most human
oh yeah,
experience you can ever have, right? Like, and why would that be weird or taboo for anybody in today's world? Blows my mind. But it is the most human thing that you can do.
Oh yeah, literally. Well, I mean, that human interaction, that shared, what I really enjoy, and I think this is something that your platform gives, and sharing wild game with others at a table, the smiles. The next time you eat with a group of people and share wild game, and they figure out that it's wild game if you didn't tell them, or they can't figure it out, or if you're playing the game, take a look around and look at all the smiles that take place around the table. Because
Yeah.
I guarantee there's probably more than you ordering McDonald's and shoving a processed cheeseburger down your gullet. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
really and truly, I really, it takes more
Yes.
prep, it's more work, but it's worth it.
So
Without a doubt.
I don't get to cook for others often.
Yeah.
But when I came back from Alaska, my client didn't want his bear, so of course I took it.
Obviously.
Yeah, right. So I ended up about 50 pounds of burger meat from this bear.
Oh.
And my wife, she works at HRC right now. She's over at Fort Knox.
Okay.
But they wanted to do, she told them I killed a bear and had a bunch of, or I didn't kill a bear. My client killed a bear and I had a bunch of ground bear meat. And they're like, man, bear meat sounds great. And then they all of a sudden came up with this idea of having a Taco Tuesday with bear meat. And I was in Iowa hunting with a veteran organization while they were having this discussion. And so as I'm sitting in a tree stand, my wife's like, hey, do you think you can cook some bear meat for us when you get back? I'm like, what?
Question mark.
Yeah. So I'm not aware of this Taco Tuesday conversation they're having, right?
Yeah.
But she finally clues me in on it. And so I'm like, fine. So I think I pulled about 2-3 pounds of this ground meat out and cooked it up for them. Because I only use salt for a seasoning. I had to ask other people what seasonings you're supposed to put in it. So ended up doing that, man. I wasn't there, but dude, just the stories that came back of just how grateful they were and how awesome they thought it was. It was just super, just super cool, right?
Yeah.
But then the best part was, and I didn't find this out till about a month later because I started working for my local processor, just going in every once in a while to help out, just so I can learn and get better. And I saw him write B on the burger meat packages, right? And he would either write a B or a P on the packages of the deer burger. And I heard him tell a customer who's coming to pick it up, and he asked what the B was for. He goes, oh, that's because I added beef fat.
Yep.
And I was like, huh. Because I have some burger meat in my freezer with a B on it. And I thought it was for bear. So it turns out my wife's coworkers did not eat bear meat tacos.
What did they eat? All right, so beef it is then. All right.
It was whitetail. Yeah, whitetail with beef fat.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were like, bear is so awesome.
Golly, yeah.
They don't even know. It's so cool.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
I told my wife, I was like, hey, I don't think I cooked you bear meat. She goes, we just won't tell anybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think about it. They're probably bragging about that. They're like, you ever eaten bear?
Yeah.
To which I replied, no. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
memory for somebody else.
Yeah, and most of them probably never eaten whitetail either. You know,
that's also true. So you'd be surprised how many people haven't eaten.
Yeah. Now, Will, you said duck. All ducks are not created equal when it comes to.
Oh Lord, I already know where you're going with this, Carter. All right, lay it on me, dude.
All right, they're not all created equal. I've killed a few ducks in my days, and I've had some genuinely
awful.
Fishy,
you can say it, man.
Muddy,
I knew it, man.
Tastes like a sea creature. So rank them for me. What's at the top?
Oh Lord, have mercy.
You're a Louisiana representative. You're the king of the duck.
Oh God. Oh, I don't know about the king. There's a lot of boys that can hammer down on the call better than me, but golly, man. Well, the cliche answer is going to be a fatty mallard, right?
Sure.
But I would disagree. I would probably say a grilled teal breast, zest of orange, maybe wrapped in bacon, and I marinated in buttermilk.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah, that one is probably one of my faves. It's my dad's personal fave that I make. Now I've eaten some good shovelers, aka Hollywoods. I've eaten, but I've marinated them or I've soaked them in buttermilk. So, because I'm
Mhm.
a firm believer in you don't waste nothing.
Yeah.
My mother comes from a family that was soybean farmers and cattle. So when we go out there, you didn't. That's originally where we got started all this duck hunting. You didn't waste nothing. You know what I mean? You killed what a lot of people would consider a not good duck. You figured out how to cook it, and I'd probably say mallard goes good with anything. A nice spatchcock like mallard. Oh my God, rosemary, butter, thyme. Get out of the way. That's another one. But in the same vein, I do love a good teal.
Yeah.
Maybe I like hunting teal more than anything because they're little jet fighters.
That was
But
my next question. What's your favorite kind of shoot?
oh, now that's a good question. So man, I love ducks in timber, but goodness gracious, do I love teal. Just coming in, just you hear them, it's like little jet fighters banking over the
Yeah.
decoys, Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, just you're like, well,
Yeah.
we probably should have shot, but I guess we'll get them on the next pass, boys. Because don't get me wrong, I've been humbled by many a teal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's for certain. My family, there's a lot of gadwalls where we are, which is another thing. Gadwall's pretty good too. So I'm not a picky eater. I'm not so sure I am the person to ask. I don't like to
That's
waste
good.
anything.
I
No,
tell
I
you what,
feel
that's what scares me about waterfowl, man. There's so many different types, and then apparently you can only
Oh
shoot
yeah,
certain types during certain parts of
yep,
the year. And I'm over here, man, like
it's
a
true.
duck is a duck. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. When a big old now, this is new for me, right? So like Louisiana boy, always grew up chasing greenheads and shooting teal. But since I have started living in North Carolina, I've gotten into geese, right? Canada geese, because they have an early season here, and you can shoot them during the waterfowl season. Those suckers, I like them one because it's a challenge because their vocabulary is so large. From a
Mm.
calling standpoint, it is so, I mean, just your range of which you can do with their calls is incredible. It really is. Like it's astounding. Very difficult, in my opinion, to get good. A lot of people can get okay, but um, goose jerky. I would argue I prefer goose jerky over deer jerky. Now I know that's gonna make a lot of people mad when I say that, but I gotta be honest. I make a jalapeno lime jerky that I may not knock both your socks off, but you might pull one off for me after you eat some jerky. So,
I'd like to try
um,
it. That sounds good.
well, the United States gets smaller every day, Carter. So I'm sure we'll go cross paths, and chances are, if I'm driving somewhere, I've got some goose jerky. So
Well,
I
Georgia's
make
not
a.
that far. Yeah, I could pop up and see you.
Hey, you're more than welcome. More the merrier.
Our flyway here, man, is just abysmal. Abysmal. It's a
Oh,
good day duck hunting in Georgia if we get a wood duck or a mallard.
well, you guys just don't have. You're not on the highway, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's you bring up a great point, man. So I'm a Mississippi flyway guy because the United States is cut into four flyways, right? You have Pacific, Central, Mississippi, and Atlantic. I've hunted three of them. I've hunted Central, Mississippi, and Atlantic now, and both of them have they all have advantages and disadvantages, just like we're all adults. Um, and what fascinates me about the Atlantic is there's such a variety, and it is the most undersold flyway.
Yeah.
But for the boys that are inland, like you, a lot of those birds follow the coast or a river near the coast, within roughly 150 miles.
Yeah.
But if you're past that, it becomes so difficult
Yeah.
because without a large food source, you don't have anything to draw the birds,
Yeah.
right? So it makes things really, really hard. So I think it encourages, which is not a bad thing for local communities or at least hunting communities to like attract hunters. You know what I mean? Because I think everybody should travel and hunt at least once.
Oh yeah.
One, it's generally humble pie,
Yeah.
right? Which is great for any hunter. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have 3,000 or 300,000 followers, right, on Instagram. It's a great humbling experience. Two, it gives you appreciation for the holes, right? The little sweet spots you do have. and two, you may come across something, you may learn something new, because that's really what it's all about. I feel like all three of us could probably agree on that note, that if I go out, maybe I get skunked, but I learned something new. Okay, hey, that was worth it. It's worth the fuel. It's worth, dragging Sully's ass out there, all blah blah blah, right? So, because that's my biggest critic is the dog. Because if I'm not shooting, the dog is like, hey, bud, I kind of did all this stuff. I went to school, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's all
What are
these
we doing?
things that have happened. Yeah, like, what are we doing? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah.
So,
Like your
I
junior
like
Bravo
that.
team when he gets told he's going on a J set.
oh yeah, good lord,
I did
dude.
all this school. I just want to go to war.
Yeah, I just want to shoot someone, please God. Like, and you're just like, no, little buddy, no, you're just gonna go train a guy who can't even see straight. So that's,
That's funny.
yeah.
So, Will, one, I love the name of your company. I think Kennards is am I right in assuming it's a nice tip of the hat to the Louisiana Cajun
Oh, it
French?
is, man. That's lit, dude,
Respect.
my man. That you're the first person to give the tip to the hat, because that's literally what it is. Me just being like, hey, boys, to who raised me.
Very tasteful naming. So well done. I like that. That's good
Appreciate
branding, man.
that.
I
Good,
had
good.
no idea. I was like, maybe it's the name of a duck. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
That's
it is. It's duck in French, so yeah, the poor little
French
duck
for
in.
duck.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Tip of your cap to your heritage, man. Um, we'd like to talk and let listeners hear about Kennards, man. And I know Kerri wants to know how the hell you run all of this while still doing the job that you're doing. I know you're a busy guy, but let's start at the beginning of Kennards, man. Where did this come from? And you decided, hey, this is a route I want to go in
Yeah.
the
No.
world.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think that. Oh man, yeah, it's a great question. I'm sorry, I'm trying to formulate an answer in sequence here. Um,
I just asked
I,
you like 3 questions, so just
that's all right. I'll bite one off at a time.
very pace.
All right. So as far as balancing, right? We already talked about we all as people with so much technology get pulled in a million directions. My answer to that is, how do I do it? Well, I don't sleep much, right? That's really what it boils down to. I know that's probably a lot simpler of an answer than you thought I was going to give, but I spend many a night in my garage pasting materials together and gluing them to my jacket and going out and trying different things, right? I knew I wanted to do Canard because of the people in the community of the outdoors. Because look at us. Yeah, sure, I know Kerri. We didn't know each other that well. I didn't know you from Adam. But here we are wrapping it up, dude, about something that all three of us absolutely could not live without.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We come from three different total experiences. You know what I mean? Three different skill sets, different occupations. Like, it's crazy how incredible this. I don't want to call it a hobby. I would almost call it an obsession that
Yeah.
we
Lifestyle.
have. Yeah, yeah, it is. I think at sometimes though, I use the word obsession because sometimes I don't think it's healthy in the best of ways, right? Because like there's sometimes where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna get that son bitch. He ain't gonna beat me. You know what I mean? I got him on camera. He was here Tuesday. Come on back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I started when I started making stuff with Canards. I wanted to create a brand that embodied the experience of a duck blind. And there's, I wanted people to see it, wear a hat or a shirt or see Sully on a print and think either about their dog or experience of another dog or think about the experience they shared with somebody else, right? Because at the end of the day, that is what I think matters most. You can, with Instagram and some in TikTok, everybody's posting all this killing, right? I think we're kind of losing our way. This is my personal opinion, right? Like I genuinely don't believe it's about the killing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to eat, got it. You want something, right? Why pay all this money and go through all these things to not kill anything? Got it. I hear you. But just for a second, take a deep breath and think about how much it matters to be out there with your buddy breaking his balls. You know what I mean? Like how truly special, or like you said, like how many people have gone and got it in Alaska, Kerry?
Yeah.
I could probably count them on. I can't even feel one hand. You know what I mean? Like that. What an incredible. Who can say that?
Yeah.
You know. And I wanted Canards to be a brand that people wore, and that's what came to their mind. Man, I killed my first mallard in this jacket. I
Yeah.
love this thing. It's warm as hell. I want to make a clothing that doesn't let the elements take away from your experience. That's really, you know what I mean? I want you to be warm. I want you to be dry because I don't want you to miss your buddy's joke. I don't want you to miss your buddy miss that shot on a beautiful bird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because somebody's got to break his balls or her ball. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to make fun of him.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question fully.
Yeah. No, I like that. I appreciate it. You picked a difficult industry to break into, going the apparel route, which is something we know about. We've gone through our growing pains with the apparel side of things and trying to source materials and just fill POs and just
Oh
like,
my gosh, who knew? Who knew?
you're spending all this money for a product you can't sell yet, and you're hoping that it does
Yeah.
sell. It sits
Oh
in your
my
garage
God.
as inventory, and you're like, you just see dollars stacked on. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God. Yeah,
People
dude,
don't
you're
see that
nailing
side
it.
of things. Yeah.
Oh
People
no,
don't see
nobody sees me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
with a piece of nylon, like sanding nylon. You know what I mean? Like what a weirdo. If somebody
Yeah.
knew I was doing that, I'd be like, what a weirdo. Who the hell is this guy? And they're like, you're like, oh, I'm a Green Beret. And they're just like, no, you're not. No, you're not, guy. Like, you're weirding me out, man. You scare me. You know what I mean? Like,
Like, little do
so,
you know, most Green
yeah,
Berets
yeah,
are fucking
literally, yeah.
weirdos.
Yeah. I'm just a weirdo who's super qualified. That's all. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. It is a very tough industry, right? But here's where I think in time, everyone says quality, right? So I'm not going to BS anybody with that, right? But the thought process that gets to the product that I actually put on the shelf will be significant. And what I'm really interested in is I want it to be a consumer driven product, which I think a lot of people nowadays aren't really interested in. It's all about this next drop, this next release, right?
Mhm.
I think they're losing the connection with the consumer, right? I don't need the whole market. I need 10,000 loyal folks
Yeah.
who are like, hey, Will, this thing sucks, man. Okay, cool. What sucks? Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like that's the stuff that goes through my head, where it's like, okay, I have no stretchy material right here. Every time I raise my arm, my belly comes out. Okay, cool, man. I'll make it longer. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, where your
Not to tell me to lose
feedback.
weight.
Yeah, you're right. It's not, but who am I to tell him? You know what I mean? Because that's another hard part about apparel nobody talks about, right? I got to make it for everybody. I can't make it for one person.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't. It's just the fact of the matter, right?
And you're making it
So
for people you know. It's kind of an insane thing.
it's absolutely insane. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's got to be waterproof. It's got to be
Yeah.
warm. It's got to be windproof. I'm just like,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll sit there and I'll like look at Sully, my dog, and just be like, whose idea was this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, can we talk to that guy? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And obviously, my dog's just staring at me like a crazy person. But like, eh, I'm like, what the hell was I doing?
Yeah.
But I'll say this, man. I had what I'm working on right now is a base layer. Well, I guess it'd be a mid layer, right? And what I'm doing is I'm backing a reflective material against an insulating material,
Mm.
and it's almost I don't know if this is a thing, but it's almost too warm that I
Mm.
found out. Like I am no shit sweating, but so I've got to like address this ability to not necessarily wick but vent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
thermal
sweating.
radiant. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I made this really cool thing, and now I've got to turn it into something, right? And now I made it, and then I mean, it looks like it looks like a blind kid sewed this thing together, right? Because I sewed it. So keep that in mind, right? But it's so warm, and I'm like, all right, where the hell am I going to put the vent? You know what I mean? Because some things don't make sense, right? Like a vent across my chest does not make sense,
Yeah.
right? To me, right? But a vent here makes sense. Well, okay, well, can I reach the son of a bitch? You know what I mean? To get to it. You know what I mean? Because in multiple layers, you can't. So all these things, like this is it, do not recommend 2 out of 5 stars, like designing these things, man. I'm like, golly, it's crazy. Um, so yeah, it's been a wild adventure, and I, honest to God, to your point, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been
Yeah.
hilarious because I don't even. My wife gives me so much shit. She's like, you're selling stuff, like you got a lot of stuff going out the door, and I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'd like to take a nap too. That'd be pretty cool. But she, I was like, I want to keep going. And she's like, yeah. And then it's like, I don't know who the hell's buying this stuff. I've never talked to these people in my life, and they're sending me all these messages like, hey, keep it up, bud. And I'm like, oh, damn, you guys are not helping this. It's just like, I don't even care if I make money anymore. I got random people telling me, good job, bud. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird conundrum of a business. I'll say that. It's fun.
Well,
You
what
know
you're
what's
doing
fun?
is very cool, man. It's you
I
have
appreciate that.
a great eye for design. Kerri and I were both perusing your website beforehand, and I'm excited for everything you have coming out. I would love for my next duck jacket to be a Canards jacket.
I appreciate
Well,
that, man.
I need old Will from Canards to take me on my first duck hunt, and then I'll wear his jacket.
All right, that's the deal, man. That's the deal. I'll even give you a shotgun to shoot too. I have a funny
Sure.
question for you. So I know you guys hunt all kinds of different stuff. Do you have now I might make a few people mad on your podcast for this one, but do you guys have a favorite camo? Not a company now. I'm talking about a pattern.
Yeah,
Yes.
I do. I do. It's called Mountain Shadow. It is
Mountain
my
Shadow.
Mountain Shadow. Um, Kings is who has that pattern, who uses that pattern. That is my favorite pattern for at least for Western hunting.
Okay.
It's funny you
Okay.
asked that. I definitely have an answer to that question. Yeah.
Well,
So
everybody does, man.
Yeah.
I'm usually a solids guy.
Okay. Which I respect. It's old school. I got a lot of love
Yeah.
for the solids.
So I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still wearing the latest, greatest like performance hunting apparel. Just I like solids, but for hunting
I ain't making
mammals,
fun. I
right?
do too. I do too.
Yeah. I've been wearing Vietnam era tiger stripe for turkey hunting this season.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
that's in a newer kind of performance one, but my ultimate favorite camo, and
Hmm.
I want somebody to make a head to toe full system, performance based hunting
Hmm.
apparel, latest and greatest technology shit in the old woodland BDU pattern.
Oh wow. Throwback, man. Okay. Okay. That's wow.
Dude,
Okay. I didn't curveball. All right.
I there's no camo that's better. First off, camo doesn't actually work, right? Sitting down and shutting up works, right? So I don't give a shit about what like whether it's gonna
Yeah.
blend in or not. But dude, you got to think about it, man. Like I started my career wearing the BDU pattern. My dad wore the BDU pattern for the majority of my childhood.
Hmm.
So it's got that history to me. Like dude, I didn't switch to AC or ACUs on my second deployment. But like
Hmm.
I didn't switch to ACUs until I got to group. Like after my second
Wow.
deployment when the
Okay.
82nd, like dude, I went to the Q course in BDUs. I did selection in the Q course in the old M81
You are
BDUs,
dating
man.
yourself, buddy.
You already know it.
you are
Yeah.
you are showing some age, Kerry, when you
Bro,
say that. I just
bro, I've
want
been
you to
retired
know.
almost 3 years, man.
That's wild. That's
Yeah,
freaky,
well,
man. Because I
about
know
2.5.
you met me when I was a cherry, when I was just like, oh, please don't hurt me. You know what I mean? Like that's just like trying to hide somewhere.
Yeah.
um, just trying to stay away from seniors. Um, okay. Okay. No, I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. To
And I,
each their
I was
own. This
probably
is
a
a
good guy
serious.
to shy away from when you first showed up too, man. Cause I think I was down the 3 shop just pissed the fuck off
You were not a
24/7.
nice man. I'll
No.
say that. You were not a very nice man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's true. That statement is very true. Yeah.
He's in a better place now.
Oh, very, very much so. The Kerry that I know today is very different than I get a whole sentence as opposed to he grunts at me as if I am an inconvenience. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Yeah.
Now,
I just,
Will, what's your answer to that question? What's your favorite pattern? And then
oh,
what
shit.
answer do you get? Is there an answer that you get from people that is a resounding, like overwhelming, like front runner to that question?
Oh, well, everybody's got their thing, right? Like most guys are real tree or mossy oak or Sitka or now I know that the good Lord himself probably wears mossy oak original, right?
No, he
Bottomland
wears
original.
Woodman BDU patterns.
So that's that would be my answer personally. If you
Yeah.
ask me, gun to my head right now, I will end you unless you give me an answer. I'll say I wear what Jesus would have wore, and that's mossy oak bottomland original. So that's I got it on right now. Like there's I'm mossy oak till I die because I grew up. My dad I didn't. Kerry made a joke about wearing the latest and greatest, and I have a lot of the latest greatest. What's funny is I buy a lot of the latest and greatest, and I'll test it out, and I'll be like, "Oh, this sucks," or I'm like checking out their design. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I my dad would always give me these shitty hand downs, and all these people nowadays they want old school camo, like they wanted all the old school. Man, I got two Contico boxes full of stuff I wore as a kid that is just like I'm talking early 1990s mossy oak, right? Like
Mhm.
the ridge, just like this stuff's still holding up, and I wear it every once in a while, you know what I mean? But I like, yeah. In short, buddy, I am a mossy oak guy until I die. So, bury me in bottomland would be what I told my wife. So,
Yeah.
whether that happens or not is up to her. But I guarantee you, I'll have something on. Damn it, I got some buddies that'll do me right. So,
I like that, man. So what's coming down the pipe for Canards, man? What are kind of your goals? You kind of talked about your
okay, yeah,
mission, the objective,
yeah.
but what are kind of next steps for you?
But the next step is I'm working on a merino base layer, right, to recycle some of that heat, right. Where I'm at with that is you kind of already hit it, honestly, Carter. I'm trying to find an American manufacturer who can
Yeah.
do it for a reasonable price, right? I've got my design. I had someone prototype it in a foreign country, which wasn't ideal, right? But I legitimately couldn't. It really sucks, right? Like, cause good Lord, man, I'm an active duty Green Beret. Like, I'll beat my chest on America all day long, man. But I could not find somebody in the United States to make it affordably.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll just do the prototype, right? Like, all right, I'll just do the damn prototype. I made like 5 or 6 of these things. I sweet talked the Pakistani bro into fucking making, pardon my language, but into making this thing for me. He made me a base layer, which is my first step to your point, right? Like, what am I doing first? Okay, I'm going to start with a base. I got to start with a warm base because I can't. I am a firm believer. I think Sitka and Shen and a few other brands are also doing it now. I believe in a systemed approach, right? Like I really do believe that because as I spent my SF career running up mountains, right? Like and being able to shed a layer and apply a layer is very, very important. And it to be packable, right? So that
Yeah.
it's not inconveniencing me. So I'm working on the merino base layer that uses a lot of reflective heat, right? Because some people run hot, some people run cold. This is the problem that I'm running into now. It's too hot for people that run hot, and it's just right for people that run cold. So I'm trying to figure out how to make this adjust it with vents, right? And it not be weird. Um, and then I'm also working on a mid layer, much like a waffle top Kerry. Very similar to a waffle top, but it's made of a different composite, right? So it's a little bit warmer and it's a little bit softer against the skin, just in case you wanted to wear a t-shirt, right? So because friction creates heat as well, and I think a lot of brands don't take advantage of that because if I'm reaching, if I'm pulling my bow back, like all this motion creates heat, right? So how do you capture that? No one's harnessing that. That's what I'm working on. So I'm working on my base layer and my mid layer because then with the proceeds of those things, because that'll be slow to catch on, right? Like we're talking 1 to 3 years here. Because I think once people purchase those things, they'll be like, oh shit, okay, these guys are onto something. Then I'll take that money and then I'll solely base it into the jacket, right? And what we'll do is we'll make a light jacket and a heavy jacket, right? I don't think I need to do, and I don't need to make a ton of it, right? I just need to give people an option of early season and late season.
Yep.
And then we're going to see off customer feedback, like I was mentioning earlier, which direction to go. Because I want it to be, I value the customer input in terms of like, okay, this is working, this is not. Okay, so let's focus our efforts this way. It's almost as if it's customer owned. I just happen to be the guy making it. You know what I mean? Like, so to speak.
Yeah.
To give some form, I think giving ownership to people of a product is a surefire way to ensure success.
Yep.
So if that makes sense. So
Yeah, I love that, man. That's a great answer. And I think Kerri and I are both excited to see everything you have coming out, man. And you have my support. You sold me, right? This has been a fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's been a fun hour conversation, man, and I appreciate you guys getting together and making this happen. So thanks for letting me be a part of it. But we're rolling up on an hour here, man. But Kerri, what do you got, man?
I just hope he's bringing some of them prototypes to Texas this year.
I'll be there this year, buddy. I can't miss it twice. That's unacceptable. even if I just show up and eat, no, I'll be like, that's enough for me. So, it goes without saying, gentlemen, thank you very, very much. And I really do, for all your listeners out there, I think this platform offers an incredible avenue to connect with guys and girls that are into the same things you are. And I think nowadays people need that, man, because you're not as alone as you think you are. Right? As I think there's a lot of noise out there, guys, and it's not as bad as you think it is. And I would argue one trip to the woods will probably make you change your mind about how bad things are. So hopefully you can get out there with somebody else.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I think you guys are onto something. I really do. I'm not just. I think I'm not just. It's not fluff, right? Like I think. There's plenty of reasons to be bummed out these days, but I promise you go out in the woods with a friend, it'll probably solve half of them. So
absolutely.
I like that, man. Will, where can people find Canards?
Oh yeah, so we have an Instagram, Canards Waterfowl, at Canards Waterfowl, right? CANARDS Waterfowl, all one word. Just for those of us that don't speak French. Kerri, a little rusty on the French.
I'm much better at posture than I was French.
Gross, buddy. You're a better man than me. And we also have the website, the www.canardswaterfowl.com, man. And just, hey, if anything, man, holler at me on Instagram. I'm on it all the time. I try to respond to every single person who gives us a follow. We're really fortunate. A lot of customer feedback. So I really appreciate anybody who's listening that, even if you say, hey, you're ugly, I appreciate it. Just thanks for engaging. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care. Thanks for saying hi. Just happy to be here, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, we appreciate your time, Will, and look forward to this episode coming out, man. And listeners, as always, we appreciate the hell out of you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.